What a view. Not the best. Welcome to Kentucky.
Last week I was at the Las Vegas Convention Center for the 2015 SEMA show, and I ran into Eric Cook from EricTheCarGuy. And we got to talking, and, well, just check out this clip. Tell me, what do you think? You want to do a video on T5s?
I would love to do a video on T5s because, I mean, I think the last time I rebuilt a transmission was back when I was in school, like 20-some years ago, and I could probably learn quite a bit from an expert like you.
You're calling me an expert.
You wrote the book on it. You can't not call yourself
I'll
an
tell
expert.
you what,
Man.
I'll make a rebuild kit up,
Okay.
I'll put it together, and I'll fly it out personally to you, and we'll do it together.
Could I ask for anything more?
It'll be awesome, it'll be a lot of fun.
It'd be beyond awesome.
And I haven't been to Ohio in a long time.
Well, it hasn't changed.
Let's do this.
Dude.
All right,
I'm
man.
into it. Thank you.
So that new T5 transmission I just dropped on the bench, I'm going to actually take apart for parts because I can't get certain parts I need from my Jag 5-speed conversions. But it got me thinking because this week I'm doing a lot of T5 work, and it'd be a good opportunity for me to show you what goes in a T5 World Class rebuild kit. So this is my T5 World Class rebuild kit. It's broken into several sections, and let me explain. You've got your main bearing section. This is your output shaft bearing. This is your race and cone. Input shaft. Counter gear front bearing. Notice it has a special race with a seal in it. Counter gear rear bearing and race. You've got your synchronizer rings. The 1-2 rings over here. The 3-4 rings over here. And the 5-speed ring. You have your needle bearings underneath your counter gears. This is your first gear needle bearing and sleeve. The kit comes with both the sleeve and the bearing. It's the way Tremec packages them. Third gear bearing. Second gear bearing. These little spaces here go underneath the bearings. You have all your different snap rings and wrap springs. You even have the clip here for the pivot shaft that holds the fifth and reverse fork. I always have the roll pins for the reverse fork, the offset lever, and the reverse idler rail. And this little smaller pin here is for the shift finger that goes inside the side cover. You got your needle bearings that go inside the input shaft. There's 15 of these needle bearings, a spacer. Kind of have a little plastic section here that has little plastic pads for the shift fork, the shifter bushing, and a little oil funnel that goes in back of the counter gear. This section over here is the seals section, I call it. It's got the front and rear seals, some of the rubber O-rings that go in the transmission and the side cover and the speedometer housing, and the little Welch plugs that go in the top cover and in the main case. This section here is all your strut keys and springs. The 1-2 springs and keys, the 3-4 springs and keys, and the 5th spring and key set over here. These are your retainer plates. This is your 5th-speed rear bearing retainer plate, and these are the strut key retainer plates for the 5th-speed synchronizer. Some of the world-class assemblies don't have this, that have the reverse brake. Again, various thrust washers. These are my peel-and-place shims. And I always include detent balls and springs because a lot of times people lose them. So this is your main detent ball and spring. This little ball here goes with actually this little snap ring here for your speedometer gears. There are some speedometer gear setups that require a little holding ball and snap ring. This little tiny ball over here and this little pin are used to retain this, like an anti-lock device, on certain main shafts. Certain main shafts use the roll pin, certain main shafts use the ball. This is obviously a little speedometer clip. And pretty much that's what we have here to put together a T5 transmission. So let me show you something about these synchronizer rings. These are your 3-piece ring assemblies for first and second gear. And I want you to notice the lining on this ring. This is a new design ring that Tremec now uses for the T5 World Class transmission. I'll show you some of the old rings and some of the history. So this is your latest rendition of the T512 World Class synchronizer ring. And I want you to notice this type of lining that it has on it. It's this carbon fiber kind of serrated lining. Okay, they never used to be like this. They started making these back in 2013, I think. But a little bit history of these rings. I want to show you the different linings. Put this aside for you now. This is your latest lining again, but this was the first lining over here. And notice that it looks like it has automatic transmission friction lining on it. The very first ring for the World Class had a much larger tang on it. See this tang over here? It was changed later on to a little bit of a thinner tang on the ring. I think they kind of did this because to give it a little bit more give, and this was a little bit too harsh. So this kind of acted as a cushion, allowed the ring to move a little bit and not have a severe breaking effect on the lining. So I think that's why they did that. These linings seem to fall off more than these did. But if, again, you could see that it's kind of like a friction material used in an automatic transmission type of clutch or any type of kind of wet clutch system. So again, this was your first design ring here with the large tang. Then they went to the smaller tang ring. Then later on, they went to this carbon fiber type ring with the small tangs on it. They always have to be used as a set. Do not mix and match them because the angles of these pieces are different. In other words, the outer shell, the inner lining, where it goes against the shell, your lining and your inside cone have a different angle compared to the old ones. So always remember that, never mix them up. So the 3-4 ring, again, evolved. These two rings look identical, but the reality of it is that the early ring had that same red friction paper, commonly again used in wet clutch applications and automatic transmission frictions. And of course, later on, they switched to the carbon fiber. So these two rings pretty much were the same, but again, they had a problem with these burning up. It's hard to see, but there are actually oil grooves in these rings over here. And I think that the amount of these groove slots reduced the amount of surface area, reducing the amount of braking effort. So this kind of rough carbon fiber type ring added more braking surface and better stopping power. Here's a good example of a carbon fiber ring that failed. Here's the lining in my hand. And what you can see here is that it's completely smooth because this ring got overheated from a car having poor clutch release. So the ring was trying to stop the gear. It couldn't stop the gear. It overheated. The bonding became loose because it just overheated and melted the bonding, and the paper fell off. So the way these rings most of the time fail is the paper comes off the ring. That's it. So if your paper's laying in the bottom of the transmission, you need some synchronizer rings. I always upgrade to, again, the latest style rings when I'm building a transmission. So this is how I package a kit. I'll take those sections, like the bearings, the synchronizer rings, all the small parts, little needle bearings too. Let's get them in here. Small parts and shims, seals and rubber, and retainer plate. And build myself a rebuild kit, pack it up in a box like this, and ship it out. Okay, that rebuild kit is all boxed, ready to go. It's about 6:30 at night here, and I have to get on a plane right now and go to Ohio. So tomorrow morning, I'm gonna wake up bright and early, get in the car, and drive to EricTheCarGuy shop, where I'm gonna take that rebuild kit and rebuild his T5 transmission. He's got a project that he's been doing online called a Ford Fairmont project. It's been pretty popular, and it's a pretty cool car. So he had sent me some pictures of the transmission, so I bought a few other odds and ends, and hopefully between those little pieces and the rebuild kit, I got a good feel of what he needs to build that transmission. So I don't know what I'm going to expect going over there. I don't know what's going to happen when I open that transmission up, if it's even rebuildable. It's a real long shot, me getting on a plane and going over there, renting a car, and that whole deal. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let me get on a plane and let's do this thing, okay? Thanks for watching. Wish me good luck, huh?
So I make a left and
Second right, turn right.
second right, turn right. Got it. Thanks.
I really love these Hampton ends. I'm not plugging them or anything like that. I just love the consistency of the breakfasts every morning, especially for me because I'm on the road a lot. And that's it.
I don't get to see leaves change much because I'm in Florida. So this is kind of a nice little change of scenery, so to speak, for me. Weather looks a little gloomy today, but I'm going to be in the shop all day building transmissions. Anybody home? How's it going?
It's going great. Good
Yeah.
to see you. Thanks so much for coming out.
No problem.
Welcome to the where the magic happens.
It is. It's great. It's huge. I need a place like this.
This place is awesome. Every single way, it's awesome.
I'm tripping over parts where I am. This is great.
Yeah.
So I only need this much space to build. That's all.
Well, we're over here.
Okay.
Because we got plenty of light. It's right next to the pools and really nice lights and everything.
Okay.
Over there. We're all set. I was just trying to pick out some RTEs.
It should be coming in. So we're gonna get to building this transmission.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Brian.
Well, I'll see you.
See you, Brian.
We'll build something else in another month or so.
Sounds fantastic.
Do some front-wheel drive stuff.
That sounds like fun.
Right?
Thanks a lot, Paul.